Hi guys, I'm trying to do this kind of post-mortem after I already figured out where I need to go, and just hopefully sharing this so that somebody else can benefit from my discoveries here. We're working right now on a 1988 Sea Ray Seville. The boat itself really doesn't matter much, although have you ever seen a white Mercury? And so, anyways, the biggest thing is the throttle. No matter where the throttle was, whether it was in neutral or not, it still wouldn't start. It wouldn't turn over. So the biggest thing is the throttle control, which is right here, and it's kind of measured by the fact that, or distinguished by the fact that the lever for your hand kind of goes towards the right. I've seen a lot of them go towards the left and so forth. Like I said, it's 1988. This is what, 38 years old, 36 years old. Um, so for the boat, it's a good indication that it was a well-built boat, because right now is the first time I think this has ever gotten into. I'm going to show you how to disassemble this and where to find the micro switch. What's really going on is you've got quite a few safety features here, and this safety feature means that the boat won't start unless it's in neutral. And there's a little safety switch. It's a little micro switch, and depending on what's going on in the little gearbox there, will tell the motor if it's in neutral or not. And if it's not in neutral, then it won't start. And of course, this one thinks it's not in neutral at any point. So let's start taking this apart. Let me get a little bit closer to where we are. So I pretty much disassembled half of the boat. This long piece of upholstery and everything, that's where everything is mounted. And I've had to remove some previous parts to get just to the upholstered part. And then we're going up through here and pulling this out. The shift lever is where we're doing most of our work here. As you can see, I've also gone and removed the captain's chair, because I'm 6'4", and that's a pretty tight space for me to work in, especially grinding out those screw heads. So we're going to start with the lever here. There's two screws that you take out. Pull this piece off. That little button that fell goes on here, and that just simply pulls off. You pull that out, just put a little bit of pressure on it. These wires connect to these wires, and they're captured by this cool little get this out in the sun here where you can see it. It's a cool little safety thing to keep all the wires apart. If you can see these little holes, that's the part that you need to start prying apart. And then of course the opposite side is your hinge. You want to disconnect your battery, otherwise you're going to be making your trim of your motor go up and down kind of like a cartoon here. So we're back here. There's actually a set nut in here. It's a hex nut. There's a hole under here. You'll see it. It's 4 millimeters. This is 1988. I don't know if everything was in metric or not, but the 4 millimeters does translate to an exact what is it, a fraction of an inch that we would do. So you don't have to undo these little screws that are up under here. That's just fine. You don't need that. Said you disconnect, you take off that plastic piece I just showed you, disconnect the wires from the other wires, and then once you get that off, this is going to come off, come out. So we've got that done. There's 4 screws around this plate that hold it to the upholstery, and then there's 4 screws that hold the gearbox on the back. So with my luck, of course, the ones that hold this piece to the upholstery, those are just nylock nuts, and those will come off. 38 years or so of the stainless steel screws being attached to the gearbox in the back stuck. One screw came out. I basically had to take my Dremel tool and drill out with a diamond bits, and I've used 15 bits going through this. And if you look at the bits, this is a nice little round one, and I don't know if it'll focus that well, but it knocks the diamond dust every so often, so that's why you got to keep changing bits. So this is my trusty Dremel tool. Lots of different bits. I've used up all the ones. Yeah, I like the round-headed ones and so forth. And then, so I went through an awful lot of bits. Harbor Freight sells this cute little drill tool. You'd swear it's a 12 volt or whatever, but anyways, it's a cute little one. This thing goes on for days and days and days. It does turn quite a bit slower than the Dremel tool, and it won't heat up and knock your diamonds off of the bits as much. What you're really dealing with is the adhesive that they're using to keep the bits onto the bit itself. So when the adhesive starts to go, then you'll kind of notice it starts smooth and so forth. So this is the one wonderful screw that, okay, now I gotta do this. Hang on a sec. Hi guys, so this is the where the rubber meets the road. Like I said, I'm kind of doing this post-mortem to kind of show you where I've been and what I've done. And this is we've already taken the handle out and so forth. There's 4 round-headed screws that hold this plate to the upholstery. So if you're not reupholstering, you don't even need to touch those 4 screws. Now there's also 4 flathead screws. Let me get this guy out of here. So this is a flathead screw, and this is what holds the back, your gearbox to, or control box to this plate here. And so I only had 1 screw that would come out properly with the screwdriver. So everybody deserves at least 1 good screw. The other 3 screws, I had to use my Dremel grinding tool and take that out. Now when you're grinding with the diamond bits, you don't have to take out all of the metal. All you have to do is go through right square down the Phillips head, and once you get to the shaft, so you're going in maybe about 3/8 of an inch or so. Once you get there, then you can start making your drill go round and round and round and pop this head off. So here's a couple of the heads. See, I've gone down through, and then once I got to the shaft, just round it out, and then I used a little flat-headed screwdriver to just pry those out, or else they'll just kind of fall out if you get all of the metal out of the way. Okay, we finally gotten to the control box. I've removed the piece of upholstery that was in the way to give us a little bit better view of what's going on. The control box can be taken apart. There's a couple screws here, this plastic piece, and then this piece here, and we'll get to it. So you can see there's a few screws here that would allow you to take this out, but those things are pretty much sealed, and thank goodness I found out you really don't have to do that. If you look over here, this yellow and red wiring is for the micro switch, and you'll find that it's wrapped around here for stress relief. And so the good part is that the micro switch is located here. You'll see these 2 studs. I've pulled the micro switch to try and get a part number off it, but couldn't find that, but I did find it, and I'll put the notes in the comments. So here's the micro switch here. It fits over these 2 studs. There's a little button here that gets pushed, and then you'll see this eccentric here. This will either close the circuit, so that must mean that it's in neutral at that point. And I tried desoldering these connections here, and they were really put on. Of course, you don't ever want these things to come off. So come to find out, the part actually comes with the wires attached to this thing. So there's a big long tail. The tail goes all the way back to the ignition. So that's how it's all wired and everything. So anyways, thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll get all the stuff. Oh, and by the way, the studs that I took the heads off of, I was able to easily remove those. For those few folks that work on cars, you know, sometimes just because you got the head off of it does not mean your job is done. But the good news is all of these screws, the 3 that I had to take the heads off of, those all came apart. So anyways, good boating. Bye.